BlackRock, the company that has its finger on almost everything. Hardly anyone is aware of this particular company, but it possesses a significant global influence. It controls the majority of US banks and owns major pharmaceutical companies and even has a stake in the mainstream media. Not only that, but it oversees around 10% of all stocks traded worldwide, making it a dominant force in the financial market. Remarkably, BlackRock's vast assets amount to a staggering $10 trillion, which is half of America's total GDP. The reach of this company has extended to the point where both the US and Chinese government rely on it during economic downturns. The founder and CEO of BlackRock hold influential positions in organizations like the Council on Foreign Relations and the World Economic Forum, reinforcing the notion that whoever controls the money controls the world. It is unprecedented for any company to possess such extensive global control. In 2020, Trump attempted to establish a closer relationship with them, and Schwartzman had positive remarks about him when they went their separate ways. On January 16, Elon Musk tweeted, mentioning that the S in ESG represents satanic, and he was referring to Larry Fink. Even Charlie Munger had said, "I hold Larry Fink in high regard, but I'm uncertain if I want him as my emperor." What's even more astonishing is that BlackRock achieved this incredible feat in just 34 years. Now here's the interesting part. You may not have heard of them, and there's a reason behind it. As you continue watching this video, you will gain a clearer understanding of the real-life implications of BlackRock's rapid domination. To understand how BlackRock became a global powerhouse, we must delve into the history of its founder, Larry Fink. Born into a wealthy family in Los Angeles in 1952, Larry always had a thirst for power. At first, he went down the political path, getting a degree in political science from UCLA, but soon enough he realized that the real power lay in the world of finance, not politics. So he shifted gears and focused on banking and real estate. During his college days, Larry became deeply involved with the rich and influential, joining the secretive Kappa Beta Phi, a group that included big names like Michael Bloomberg and the chairman of Goldman Sachs. With these connections, Larry started his career in the mortgage bond department at First Boston, a pretty average investment bank in New York. During his time there, Larry made a lasting impact on the financial world, earning huge amounts of money, generating over $1 billion. He seemed unstoppable, destined to become the CEO. Larry became an expert in these mysterious investments during this period. But, as they say, success comes with a price. Determined to keep all the rewards for himself, Larry started building a figurative time bomb, with only he knowing how to defuse it. In 1986, his audacious practices and unchecked ambition caught up with him. After a series of bad trades, Larry made a massive mistake, losing $100 million of the bank's money in just a few months. The goodwill and reputation he had worked so hard to build crumbled away, leading to his expulsion from First Boston. It seemed like his dreams of ruling the world were nothing more than a fantasy, an unattainable peak. However, Fink wasn't about to relinquish his power so easily. Instead, he saw an opportunity in this disaster, and made risk management his top priority. After losing his job at the age of 36, Fink joined forces with some of his former colleagues from Kappa Beta Phi, and together they founded BlackRock in 1988. It didn't take long for Larry to start raking in the cash. Within just 5 years, BlackRock's value skyrocketed from $5 million to an astonishing $8 billion, but it wasn't always smooth sailing for Fink. During this time, a power struggle emerged as he desired a larger share of control over BlackRock's future. He kept his plans for world domination to himself and pressured one of the co-founders to sell their stake in the company for $250 million in 1995. Little did they know that this stake would be worth over $12 billion today. Despite these power games, Larry Fink's journey towards world domination remained unstoppable. He continued to amass more and more power over the next decade, yet his ambition was insatiable. Now, earlier I mentioned a ticking time bomb that Fink had a hand in creating during his early days at First Boston. Well, that time bomb was about to detonate. In 2008, the world was hit by the worst financial crash since the Great Depression. And the amazing thing is that Larry had complete control over all of this. It was Larry Fink's mortgage-backed securities that had set everything in motion. And because Larry Fink had foreseen the 2008 crash, BlackRock's focus on asset management protected them from the turmoil. In reality, this catastrophe presented an opportunity for Larry Fink, as he was the only person on Wall Street capable of resolving this crisis. Thanks to Larry's personal connections with Treasury Secretary Timothy Geithner, BlackRock effortlessly secured a contract to oversee the assets of numerous banks that collapsed during the crisis. They took advantage of this disaster to establish Larry Fink as the most powerful man on Wall Street. However, Wall Street was just the beginning. Larry Fink had bigger plans for world domination. BlackRock's breakthrough came in the form of ETFs, a type of investment fund that invests in all the companies within a particular industry. These funds were highly popular due to their stability and solid returns, making BlackRock the largest player in this new market. They were able to attract money from all corners, from the biggest banks to the smallest retirement funds, and soon became the top player in the industry. BlackRock's reach extended to pretty much every major corporation on the stock market, with Larry Fink recognizing the power of technology in the future economy. BlackRock invested heavily in building a supercomputer named Aladdin, which managed over $10 trillion worth of assets for the company. This amount is equivalent to 50% of United States GDP, giving BlackRock even more power to exert control over the economy. As a result, they are now closely tied to governments, and their influence continues to grow. In 2020, the Federal Reserve enlisted the help of BlackRock to safeguard their investments from the impact of recessions caused by the coronavirus. However, BlackRock has taken advantage of this partnership to expand their influence, transforming Larry Fink into a billionaire oligarch with unparalleled authority not only over the economy, but also the entire globe. He wields power over trends in culture and foreign policy, and even the banking sector. With BlackRock overseeing assets equivalent to 10% of the world's global economy, they now possess stakes in various industries such as media and banking and oil and weapons manufacturing. As time goes on, the consequences of Larry Fink's growing control over the world are becoming increasingly severe. BlackRock's influence over the world is greatly attributed to its control over the media. Alongside Vanguard, another investment company they have partial ownership of, BlackRock currently holds significant stakes in various media giants. They possess 18% of Fox, 16% of CBS, 13% of Comcast, which owns NBC, MSNBC, CNBC, and Sky, and even 12% of Disney. This is of utmost significance because it implies that these companies must consult with BlackRock before making any major decisions regarding their policies. The same holds true for the realm of big tech, as BlackRock has become the largest institutional investor in Google, Facebook, Twitter, Amazon, and numerous others. Their list of investments seems never-ending. By expanding its influence in such a profound manner, BlackRock now wields control over more than 90% of the media. This might explain why you may not have heard much about them, as controlling the media is a crucial step for BlackRock in its quest for global domination. If people were aware of the implications of BlackRock's ownership of over $9.5 trillion in assets, it would undoubtedly raise some important questions. You know, it's not just about BlackRock's control in the media. They have their hands in everything, from the global economy to politics, and it all revolves around their powerful tool, Aladdin. This thing can predict investment outcomes like nobody's business. But where does Aladdin get its information? Well, brace yourself because it's pretty unsettling. BlackRock owns banks, insurance companies, and social media giants, and even pension funds. That means they have access to a massive amount of personal data on pretty much everyone who has ever given them money, knowingly or unknowingly. With this kind of control, everyone wants a piece of the pie. By having so much data, BlackRock can manipulate companies and even influence government decisions. They even managed to snag a contract to regulate banks in the EU, but now it's being investigated because, surprise surprise, BlackRock owns those banks too. This is just one example of their shady actions. A study in 2016 revealed that investment companies like BlackRock have a lot of behind-the-scenes power in the companies they own. And it's even scarier because BlackRock owns stakes in almost all major publicly traded companies. Now, with the recession going on, they're buying up homes and real estate like crazy, driving up prices for regular folks. They profit when people can't afford to own their own homes and have to rent instead. But here's the kicker. Other players are starting to challenge BlackRock's power. In 2020, they became the first foreign company allowed into China's mutual fund market. It's a whole mess, my friend. The funds invested in China by BlackRock are not solely their own. A significant portion of these funds come from pension funds and bank accounts that regular people unknowingly contribute to through BlackRock-controlled banks. Unfortunately, people have no say in whether their money goes to BlackRock and the CCP, and many are not even aware of BlackRock's involvement. The rise in global funding for authoritarian regimes is a cause for concern. It's alarming to see how this trend is encouraging others to follow suit. Take, for example, BlackRock's recent recommendation for investors to triple their investments in China. This would mean pouring billions of dollars into a dystopian regime, all at the expense of the West. What's even more troubling is that China views the companies operating within its borders as mere extensions of the one-party state. These companies are owned by the state and are expected to carry out the will of the CCP. This becomes even more worrisome when you consider that BlackRock has access to the world's data. Forget about TikTok's data harvesting. BlackRock knows everything from our bank details to our personal preferences. They have the power to shape social trends and even influence influence entire countries. So, any increase in Chinese investments not only boosts BlackRock's influence but also strengthens China's global presence. Since August 2020, when BlackRock was granted access to the Chinese economy, they have been pouring more and more money into Chinese companies. Their supercomputer Aladdin sees this as a profitable move, but it fails to recognize the potential impact of the CCP on the world economy and global politics. And if history has taught us anything, it appears that BlackRock is destined to exert even greater control over our daily lives through Larry Fink's close relationships with government leaders worldwide, their significant influence over the World Economic Forum, and their presence on the boards of the Council on Foreign Relations. BlackRock's influence is set to expand further. In this world, our politics and society are not shaped by votes, but rather by investment boards controlled by companies, leading to a more generic, thoughtless, shallow, and cruel culture. BlackRock may simply be a symbol of a world divided between a handful of massive corporations and powerless, impoverished, and joyless citizens. These corporations, like BlackRock, acquire all our homes, inflate our currencies, and profit from the conflicts and chaos we experience. This is why owning a house has become increasingly difficult, and why our society is more divided than ever before.